Hello everybody, welcome back to MetaMoon. I'm Emily, and on this channel we explore all of the things that can help you have a better experience playing this wild, crazy game that we call life as a human being. It is nearly the end of October. It has been 10 months, nearly a year, since COVID-19 began its spread around the world. It's been 7 months since the US declared a state of emergency. We have all been going through it. We have been facing challenges. We have been pushed to evolve. And the craziest part is, it's not over. We don't know when it's going to be over. This is a time where a lot of us feel really isolated. We feel frustrated with the way that things are going, the challenges that we're facing. And as somebody who coaches people for a living and talks to everybody about their problems, I started to notice that there was a lot of similar stories, similar hardships and struggles among a lot of the people that I've talked to. And so I had the idea to compile a lot of different stories from different people in a podcast so we could all listen to some of these stories, maybe hear a little bit of our own experiences in those stories. And by listening to those stories, it might create a little bit more of a sense of community and togetherness and a little bit of hope during a really challenging time. Normally I have video that goes along with my podcast so you can watch while you listen here on this channel, but since this one's a little different and I had people submit in all these different voice memos of their stories, I don't have video for the podcast. So if you want to listen to it, you can click in the caption below to hear that. And for today's video, I decided I would share my story. Back in December of 2019, when all of this began, I was actually in India with my partner. We were studying some very sacred and ancient yogic traditions and forms of meditation. We spent some time with the Dalai Lama. It was a really crazy experience. And while I was there, I had this deep, unexplainable knowing that things were about to get crazy when I went back to the United States. I didn't know that it was going to be at all the way that it looked. I just knew for me personally that my old life was going to start falling away and that I was going to be pushed into something new. But I had no idea what I was in for. So we're in India, we get on a plane to fly back to the United States. We actually have a layover in China in December, which is crazy now that I think about it. And though we were fortunate enough to not get COVID-19 in China, once we landed, within a matter of days, my partner and I both lost our jobs. The details of that are way too long of a story for this video, but the point is we already went into 2020 jobless. We beat all y'all to the trend of being jobless in 2020. But thankfully, I had also been doing some gigs on the side, doing what I previously used to do for work, which was being a touring audio engineer, doing front of house for live gigs and concerts and shows. So I figured that would be a pretty easy transition to go back into doing that full time. I hit up a bunch of people, got a ton of work lined up doing that for the coming months. And then March arrived, and literally overnight, I lost all of my work. Every single gig got canceled, every venue I worked for got closed, the whole music industry collapsed like that. And thus began my big lesson of this year, which was facing my scarcity mindset and my fear around money. I grew up with the mentality that you work hard, you save up, and you spend less than you make. These were the fundamental rules of how to be secure in this world financially. I have consistently held jobs from the time that I was 13 years old. I have lived my whole life as what one might consider a workaholic. All of this has come from a deep fear of not having money, a fear that so many of us struggle with. I had never really stopped before this year to think about what would actually happen if I ran out of money. To me, running out of money felt like something worse than death. And that fear was so intense that even just knowing that money wasn't coming in anymore and that what I did have saved up would dwindle and dwindle and dwindle, that scared me. So just as many of you, I'm sure, also had to do this year, I had to really look at what would happen if I ran out of money. What resources were available to me? Who would be around to support me and jump in and make sure that I was okay? Looking at this made me become aware of my privilege in a way that I wasn't aware of before. Knowing that if worse came to worse, I wasn't gonna end up on the street. I had family that could take me in. I had people that would make sure I at least had a couch or a floor to sleep on for a little bit. I learned so much about my own resourcefulness and what I could come up with and create to bring income in when my back was really against the wall. And it got tough there for a while. Really gnarly, but you know what? I'm okay. I made it through. And the coolest part is I was talking for years about quitting all the other jobs that I was doing to put my full time and attention into creating content online and merging my love for art and writing with the desire to help people and share the things that have really helped me. But that scarcity mindset and that fear of running out of money kept me from doing it. I was too scared to quit my jobs. So in a way, I see everything that happened and how it affected me as such a beautiful gift from the universe to push me into something that I was too afraid to do on my own. It's almost as if life knew that I was ready, even when I didn't think that I was. So by being shoved off that cliff, I was able to discover my own wings and figure out how to make sure that I didn't die. Crisis is such a crucial piece of our growth in this life. Creation and evolution happens because of crisis. If we stay comfortable and secure, then we're never going to evolve and grow. So if we can shift our perspective to see crisis in this way, then we can look for the lessons, we can trust in the strength within ourselves, we can trust in the support that we have all around us. I have learned so much this year, not just about money, but also about relationships, about myself, about loneliness. I've cut so much of the unnecessary things out of my life that were draining my energy and time. I've learned to live in coherence and care with the earth that supports my life. I've grown deep and beautiful bonds with the few people that I have been able to spend time with. And though this is far from over, I feel such a renewed sense of strength, not only for myself, but for us as humanity, of what we can make it through, what we can overcome. Thank God I didn't really know at the beginning of the year how this was actually going to pan out and that we are still going to be where we are today in October. I don't know about you, but I would have freaked out. But we're here, and we're okay, and we're gonna be okay. So if you want to hear more inspiring stories from this year, take a listen to that podcast. Thank you so much to all of you who sent stories in. And if you're now hearing this and like, man, I wish I could have shared my story, put it in the comments so we can all see. It's through the process of sharing our stories and journeys and experiences together that helps us stay strong and hopeful, and that sense of community and togetherness is what's going to get us through. I know it's been such a hard year, and I know that you have gone through some really difficult things. You're probably still in the middle of those difficult things, but I just want you to know that this is going to turn you into someone so strong and courageous and beautiful, and you are in the process of evolving. How amazing is that? All right, I love you all. Remember that you are safe, you are loved, and you have everything you need within you. Peace and blessings.